Welcome to MPA Feedback Stream 30. I am the guild leader. And today with us, we have Blayhub,
Hello,
Radium, and Emeralds back with us today.
Yo.
Hello.
1 second, let me turn down my YouTube volume. Okay, there we go. All right, so this is the stream we do every Friday for the MPA community, music production amino community here on YouTube. So you want to get your track on the stream, just look for the featured post in the community. It's a yellow featured picture every week, and you can submit your track there. We play it live on Friday, and we take turns, open up conversation, and give feedback on the tracks. You help you gain a new perspective on your music. All right, so anyways, I feel like I butchered the intro, but who cares? I'm going to just do some quick I'm gonna do some quick announcements. So forgive me for missing the end of the lyric competition, and I don't even know who won. I'm looking it up now. But also on that note, forgive me and everyone in the community for not being as active lately. I've been trying to start a new money-making venture and all this stuff, trying to make money and all that stuff, and it's just taking a lot of my time. That I'm working on my album, so just those two things are really taking a lot of my attention and time. But it's just kind of like getting started is the problem. Once I get going, I'll have more time for the community for sure. But on that note, so the lyric competition ended. I missed it. I'll look it up, but Radium can share if she wants that with us. And then also in the community, the producer battle ended. We have the winner was Jay Percy, and they're sending me a Stems remix pack for remix competition. So we get to remix a Jay Percy track. Sorry if I'm saying their name wrong. But that's going to be really fun. So once I get that remix pack, and Jay, no hurry, no pressure, just whenever you get that to me, we'll get that started and launch that at the appropriate time or the best time. But currently we have going on the MPA 3 Instruments Challenge. Challenge 3. I'm going to pass that over to Blay since this is his baby, and I'm going to let you talk about that.
Yeah, so I'm going to talk about this just a little bit. I think we can talk more about it at the end. But the MPA 3 Instruments Challenge is a challenge where, to start at the beginning, hi, I compose music, orchestral music. I don't know if everyone knows. I think the community does, but who cares? So I use software instruments for most of it, for scoring movies and stuff like that. And my favorite developer for these software instruments is called Orchestral Tools. And they have released, they've worked on their new player, which is used for, it's basically the plugin that you use to play those virtual instruments. And they have released a free version of, basically it's called Sound Factory, and they want to add every month or so, or however it works, add new instruments for people to use for free, which are sort of low-spec versions of their actual big libraries. Not really, but it's sort of like that. And they've released 3 instruments, which is a string ensemble, like a string. It smells like a string orchestra even, all in one. It's not individual sections. Piano and percussion. So that's 3 instruments everyone can download for free and use. And so I've come up with the challenge where you guys create music using nothing but those 3 instruments, and no less than those 3 instruments. So every single one of these instruments has to be used in the track, and you can't use anything more than that. So you can multiple instances of these instruments, but you can't add your own software synth, you can't add your own vocals, you can't record or anything. Anyway, it's in the featured posts. and you can check it out there. It's going to be a
Including the
fun
download
challenge.
link for Sign Factory is the name of it. Sign Factory
Yes.
free instrument subscription
Yes.
service.
Oh, just one quick thing, because it is something that someone has already struggled with. FL Studio has some issues with Sign, but you can resolve them very easily by going into the troubleshooting on the plugin and enabling fixed buffer lengths. So then it'll work. Because it'll like bug and lag, but then it's resolved, so it's really easy fix.
All right. Yeah, that's good to know. I'm having another issue like that with my Fruity Loops in a third-party plugin. I wonder if it's something similar. Anyways, cool. That's a really fun one. I like challenges like that.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear what everyone's doing.
Right, and I encourage people to this is, even though it's not your genre or your typical style of making music, and you're still trying to figure out your style, whatever it may be. It's really good to explore other styles of making music, workflows, and genres and instruments and plugins and stuff like that. It really just kind of breaks you away from what you're struggling with in your own music. And then when you come back, you have another whole outlook on it, and you learn things and stuff like that. And also you could take what you make out of this and turn it into, you can use it and redo whatever, or repurpose it if you're not, you're not happy with what you end up with. So I think it's worth time. It's a fun activity, challenge, and it's a good learning experience. So really, I like these style of competitions Blake comes up with. So anyways, thanks for doing that.
Shall we start with our feedback stream then?
Yeah, I mean, let's look real quick to make sure that was everything I was going to say.
Right.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. The new March 2021 community support playlist has been posted on SoundCloud, but I still need to add some new tracks to it. Just looking for music posted this month mainly, and the best stuff, So get your stuff posted on SoundCloud. You can share a link if you want directly into the post, but most of the time I find it by just going through the SoundCloud. So anyways, you can find the featured post of that in the community also. All right, let's get started on the MPA Feedback Stream 30. I'll pass it over to Blake.
All right, so our first submission for today, or tonight, or whatever, is going to be Butterfly Effect by Chika M. Have fun.
Give him some life from me from a scary past. Never was meant to last. Got me on a broken path. Walk till I flow past. Acting like I never laugh. If you break character, they gon' come after you. Try to cop everything. Z-Rock's my other name. Copy the other pain. Now who ain't so bright? Coming to life. Bada boom, bada bing. End of your life. Capiche? I'm a fucking soprano. Living real high on dreams. Give me the ammo. Fuel don't cost a thing. When you a tattle, experience give you wings to fly up in the neon sky. Metamorphosis like a butterfly, true self come alive, my no stress vibe. Tell haters stop the press, hope it dies. We arrogant must survive. Tell me why. Live on a prayer with your eyes closed, hands clasped, wearing your best clothes. I swear, devil try to test those who stay prayed up. Check those friends who saying you next up. Not even Jesus had this luck. Walking in faith, keep your head up. My girl, people are messed up. Give life not a quick buck. Girl, keep it soul, never let up. Don't sell your dreams for the press, love. Stay true to you and stay blessed up. Got your throne ready, check stubs. Can't keep you warm in the next love. You got the fame, what's the price of? To entertain and be less loved? Tell me why. entertain the weak. Listen when I speak. Your fire has peaked. Roadway too steep. Break bread I eat. Don't need to sleep. Two minds meet.
All right, so that was Butterfly Effect by Chika M. And Chika left us a very long note again, which I'm going to read now. Actually, I actually like the long notes because we do get a bit of information. It's still funny.
Right.
It's still funny. Anyway, here's Chika's note. So this song is originally for an actual song of my upcoming singles. I want to. Wait, I'm already messing it up. Okay. This song is originally for an actual song of my upcoming singles I want to publish, but once again I can't fit the track. This is called Butterfly Effect, inspired by grudgy pop, angsty dark pop female vocalist. What? Vocalist. And also NF. Sorry, I don't know what any of that means. This only took me 2 days to really complete. I mean, I was heavily motivated and I kept pushing myself. There's switches like every 2 bars, and I did that on purpose. Honestly, I think the arrangement is pretty smart of me. I have a rapper named D in this. What do you think? Credits produced, mixed, mastered, and okay, produced, mixed, and mastered by Chika M. D Smart is the rapper, and then Gia or Gaia or whatever will be singing. All right. All right, so what did you guys think? What did you think, Guild?
All right, so, well, okay, I'm reading in the chat, and Chika, you said, yeah, I got a mixing engineer for this. So did I think
she's gonna get one. She's gonna get one to fix the mix, I think.
Oh, okay.
So this is not mixed. This is a work in progress, I think.
This is your mix, though, right, Chika? Okay. Okay. Well, first of all, I really like the vocalist. Really, really, really good. I think this is a really good vocalist. The recording was good. It wasn't like a creative style of recording where in a lot of this style of music, there's a lot of ad lib, or I don't know what you call them. Just like a backup vocalist, but not like a singer, but like backing up certain words and emphasizing certain things, and sometimes just little effects here and there that could have been added to this to give it a little bit more of a like shine. But it's not necessary. I mean, you can go either way with that. You can some vocalists like to keep their vocals really dry, and some vocalists like to add that extra flair. And in fact, I'm not talking about auto-tune at all. I'm just talking about a little bit of like some reverb here and there, but then like a little reverse reverb here and there, and then like delay on certain words, like just delay the last word of a phrase or something. Things like that really bring up a pop song to life. That's what makes it kind of that's the extra, those little extra things that kind of, really makes it a studio style mix anyways. But so I think you could have done that and it really would have made the singer seem even more pro. But again, not necessary. It's just the direction you want to take it. There's a lot of vocalists that don't do any of that because they want to keep it dry, and they can, but so you can definitely do some stuff with the creative mixing of the vocals. But as far as the way they are clean, they're clean and seem really well like balanced and compressed or whatever they were, like they were level. And the vocalist is really good with timing, coming in on beat and right before the beat sometimes, but perfectly, like, on purpose, sounding really good. Now for the beat, I like the beat, but the mixing was kind of like off. It doesn't need to be like a super modern mix. You can still keep like I always say, you can keep these darker or almost grungier style mixes, but then when like the strings come in, it just sounds it's not enough excitement to those strings. They were just kind of there, and just the strings were not, those could have came in and brought a lot of life to the track, because the vocalist already had a lot of energy and life and professionalism. I don't know what you call it, but like already sounded to me like, oh, that's a star. But then the beat kind of was lacking behind the vocalist, I think, in this one. So, but I liked it. I like the instrumentation. I like the style. I like what you wrote. And you mentioned already you're going to get a mixing engineer, which I would suggest you try to do it yourself. A lot of times mixing something, just if you don't happy with the mix, the best way to do it is just mix it again. Mute all the tracks, start with the most important elements, and rethink the mix yourself. Take some time away from it, come back to it, mix it again a few different times, save different versions, and then pick your best mix. But anyways, the mix, if you were to mix this differently and get a studio engineer behind it, you could really bring it. This is a really good song. It just needs some work in the studio, like studio magic kind of work. And then, anyways, I think I said enough. I will pass it over to, we're going to go Blayhub next.
All right. So yeah, first off, sorry Chika, I can't change it now. But you've submitted this photo, so next time you could also make use of our MPA free cover art, a temporary cover art library, which there is supposed somewhere. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna refeature that. I'm gonna pin that. We've got it.
All right. Anyway, okay, so yeah. Actually, I thought it was pretty interesting. I liked all the changes you had in there. It was actually really interesting. I think it's something that could be enjoyed by quite a lot of people. I personally think this is more criticism to the, I don't know if it's a vocalist, rapper, whatever you want to call it then. But I think it could be more energetic in the sense that it sounded very spoken. The tone in the voice was a bit too calm for my liking. So it sounded like someone was sitting down instead of like we are right now talking and talking about stuff. When really it should be more shouty, yelly. Not really yelling, but I think you get what I mean. I think it would work. Then of course, I mean everything was a bit dry and sort of empty. I believe you said you will be there will be parts. Gaia will be singing, so I guess there's going to be something like a melody at some point, which would be nice. Because it's more focusing on rhythm and chords in a way. So that's gonna I hope that's gonna be added in some way, but more melodic sections or parts as well. But I like the changes. I like the changes. It's not like totally boring or anything, so that's good. Yeah, it's definitely on the more I'm not gonna say generic, but it's something you would expect from a track like this. So take that however you will. It's not bad. It's not good. Not that what I said. I mean, you can see it as negative criticism. You can see it as positive criticism because maybe you want something that is more expected and you sort of know what happens. So But if you don't, if you want this to be like really special and out there and it's different, it's changing what rap is, then maybe you could change some things, make it a bit more interesting. But yeah, I did not pay super much attention to the text, so I can't really talk about that. But yeah, anyway, that's really all I have to say. I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna be nice today to a lot of people, so. I'm gonna hand it over to Emerald.
Cool.
Okay, hey. So I actually really like this. I thought it was cool that it was all like produced, mixed, and mastered by you and everything. This is completely 100% by you except for the rapper, which is I thought was awesome. What was I gonna say? I wrote like notes down in the other. Hold on. Okay. So for some constructive criticism, because this is a feedback stream. I noticed in the vocals like the p sounds like puh, I guess like every time the rapper said like with something with a P sound, it sounded kind of like boomy. I guess that could have been because of like the mic they recorded it on, or something like that. I'd like go into that.
I expect them to have
I'd
been
go
too
into the
close, maybe,
vocals. Yeah, probably too close. Too close to the mic.
without a windscreen, maybe. Or if
Right, you can
interrupting.
fix that. You can fix that post. I mean, it's something you want to like not have happen when you're recording, but you can definitely go in and find where that is.
Yeah,
and
you
surgically
could work against it with a low cut filter, but it's not
a
going
low
to be
cut
too great
filter.
because you're going to lose a lot of the frequencies of the voice. So
That's true. Or you could use something more like, I'm sorry, Emerald, I'll pass it right back to you. But as you know, Edison can do it in FL Studio, but there's other software Isotope has where you can actually just go find that part of the song and then pick that uh, uh, frequency and just kind
Yeah.
of remove it and mix it out.
Mm.
And then it's not happening the entire time. It just happens when that happens. And that's probably the best.
You can
'Cause
get
it's
it
such a low
below.
end.
You can get it below a noticeable level, so hide it underneath everything else, which could help a little bit. But preferably, you'd re-record it and use a windscreen, get a bit further away from the microphone,
Farther,
and then you have a
yeah.
clean recording, and
Yeah,
you can
recording
properly
is
work with it.
everything.
Yeah. Sometimes you don't have to be right up. I mean, a lot of times you don't have to be right up on the mic.
Yeah.
So get it farther
I-
away.
Yeah, I just want to say, I'm so sorry. We're totally stealing Emerald's time right now. I'm gonna reset the timer. No, but I just want to say I like the tone of the sound of was it D? Yeah, D's voice. I think it's a good voice for this. I just think it should be more energetic. So if you could re-record it, I don't know if they have time, how much you paid them, or if you paid them, if you could afford to re-record that, give the direction to be more energetic and be daring with volume and with using the voice in a more supported manner. I would suggest to do that, and I would suggest them to use a windscreen and to get a bit further away from the microphone.
Yeah. Retro says everything needs more OTT. That is not true. Although a lot of things will benefit.
Anyway, I'm gonna. Okay, Emerald, you get your 3 minutes now.
Okay. So basically in the vocals, there's a lot of low end. What I usually do is I just use subtractive EQ. So basically, just like don't like put any EQ louder than it already is. Basically, just lower stuff to get the tone you want. And then the 808 bass that was playing every once in a while, you had it like switch on and off in some parts during the song. I liked it. It was well mixed and everything. It sounded really good. It was just I think it could have had a longer release because it's kind of like there in your face and then out very suddenly. So like kind of just like if I don't know if you use like a sample or a synthesizer, try to like have it fade out at the end a little bit of each 808. And then yeah, also every time I saw in the notes, like you said, you switched it up I think like 2 bars or something like that. Every few bars you switched it up a lot, which I thought that was really good. That is a awesome quality in a producer.
Yeah,
because a lot of people kind of, including me, I kind of just like repeat everything over and over again. So that's a really good trait. But when you were switching everything out, it kind of just felt kind of sudden. Like I'd kind of use transitions, I guess. My favorite kind of transitions are called people just call them whooshes. Like they kind of just go whoosh and then it's the next part. Like just something to kind of like transition it. It could be percussion, white noise, pretty much anything. And that, yeah. Oh, one more thing also, I feel like to bring it from like a 99 to 100%, a ad libs for the vocalist, for the rapper.
They are called ad libs. I thought I said the wrong word. I was like, I don't think I said the right word. I feel.
Yeah, I don't know what ad libs. But that's
like, is that when like the singer backs up their own thing with like they say the word again or they say another word? after or
Yeah.
something like that? Or...
Yeah, that's literally what it is. Like, if they can, like, every few words, they just, like, repeat a word on another recording, on top of that, like, that would be perfect. That'll bring it from, like, a 99 to 100%, and honestly, this is a really good song, and, yeah, so you did a good job, Chika. And I'll pass it over to, Radium now, and I think that was over 3 minutes, sorry.
No, it was under 3, but I was getting ready to notify you. Anyway, whatever. Radium, what the hell is going on?
Rah. There's too many R's happening right now.
Yeah.
Okay, Gaga. Okay. Just warn me if I start cutting out because my Wi-Fi was acting up a few seconds ago. I did not write my feedback because I've got a lot of homework and studying to do. So I will ramble. I liked the track. I will start with that. I really liked the track. Actually, it's don't have
Okay, you're cutting out, Radium.
much.
So now you are cutting out.
Yeah.
I noticed it now.
It was
Okay.
starting so well. Oh no.
That case, so they have an idea to what to do and what the vibe of the song is, but I don't see it as complete. I definitely feel like there's a few elements that are missing. Everyone else already mentioned them, but like, you know, a few FX transitions,
Uh-oh.
add
Yeah, you're
something
kinda
to
getting
so it fits better. Yeah.
Radium, we got some of what you said, but we're missing most of it.
Project
You
it
are
needs
cutting
to like
out.
hit you in the
I don't
face.
think you can even hear us. So.
Metaphorically, it needs to hit you in the face. And right now, it's kind of
gross
it's more like
feet.
a slap. So yeah, I would really work on.
Okay.
You were good there at the start, and then you kind of
yeah, it was starting so good. Oh well. Chika, I'm very sorry. You'll never know what Radium
work on what? She's like, what? Work on what? No, tell me. It's something about hitting hard in the face, which is always a good advice.
Yeah.
I don't know.
This is disappointing.
So disappointing. Yeah, that's unfortunate. She's Radium's having problems with her internet, as she said.
Yeah.
So we will have to move on to the next until.
Hi, Radium. I think you can hear us again.
Yeah.
Okay. Should we try again? Because
the thing is, I don't know when it started cutting out.
Yeah.
Really? I only heard you say one thing, which was something about hitting harder in the face. So most of it was cut out, unfortunately. I don't know if you want to repeat that or just tell Chika later.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm just going to summarize my shit. More FX, more layers. Your song needs to punch me in the face and not just slap me, because that's disappointing. And if I could give advice to the rapper, more energy in the rap. You know, like don't be scared to rap like a Cupcake or I am Doechi. Like, you know, those female rappers who really like they fucking scream in the mic. That's how you should rap for that particular song. Remember,
that's
it's
what
a punch,
I want.
not a slap.
Yeah.
For my
it sounds like a rapper
cutting out again.
Yeah.
Very cool.
That's good feedback, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. The vocalist seemed like it was that she's definitely able to do that style. So that would be cool to hear. I mean, not everyone's able to do that. Seems like we could hear the potential, and we kind of all wanted it to be a little bit more energetic. All right, so shall we move to the
Let's move on to our next submission for today, which is going to be SC by Hazarral. Have fun. All right, so that was SC by Hazarral, and Hazarral left us a message, a very short message. I'm going to read that out now. I made this on phone because dead laptop, so there is no producing, only composing. Hazarral. Okay, we know the struggle. Things happen. Technology is evil sometimes. All right. So, what did you guys think? What did you think, Guild?
Right. So this was a super simple song. I like how Minty Miss said it feels good in the ears though. This is like a it's like a little what do you call it? Almost like a little music box, those ones you wind up or something. So it was nice. Now, for just being such a short thing, it seemed like this is in more of a commercial realm or trying to do something with this instead of just it seems like it would have to be for a purpose, like a background of a commercial or a scene in a movie or just that interlude on an album maybe. But what I get from it is like an intro to a song is what I get from it more than anything. Intro or the end of a song even, but like an intro to a song. But if not, if this is the whole thing, then I think it'd be better for like sync licensing or something like that. But besides that, I mean, not everyone's trying to do something with their music, business wise. So sometimes it is what it is. I would say the extreme stereo, the panning is nice on the headphones and stuff. It's not always as good on speakers because you're never sitting. A lot of times you're not sitting right in the middle of your two speakers unless you're in the studio engineer and you're mixing a song. Most of the time you're either on one side of the speaker or the other. So when you're in the car, the driver's side, you're not sitting right in the middle of the car. You're on the left side or the right side of the car. And when you're in your room, a lot of times you're just like, you got a speaker next to your bed and you got another speaker on the side. In the club, people are standing. If it's not a mono mix, you're standing. So the problem is with that is a lot of times you miss half the song. And another example is me at work. I have a headphone in and I have it in one ear and I leave the other one off so I can hear people talk. I would miss half the song. And sometimes you just don't know. You think that's just the way the song is. So, you'd be surprised just going over to like 90% instead of 100%, how much it's still very wide, but the other 10%, just having just 10% of the right on the left and it's not as bad when you do the whole too close to one speaker thing. So I never recommend going a full 100% on panning is what I'm saying. And I've heard someone else recommend that, but there are no rules. You can do whatever you want. This has been one of those things that people have experimented with in studios, usually quite far into the past, like the Beatles and stuff, like you were saying, Blake, experiment with this, but people quickly realized that was the problem. Like having it too pan too far caused problems with people that across all listening platforms and stuff. But anyways, so just something to think about when you're doing creative mixing like that. But it is nice on like headphones and stuff. It really is when you're going to sit down and listen to a good stereo mixed album, put a good set of headphones on and kick back and just like get lost in it, then that kind of stuff does wonders for the mix, just the overall experience. But it just doesn't translate in all things. Anyways, needs more OTT. Sometimes things have enough OTT is what I'm learning. It's like, what if something already has plenty of OTT, and then you're like, what's wrong with this? Do I add more OTT? There is a limit, everybody.
It's missing
So-
intelligence.
Yes, the upwards, downwards compressors, multi-band. This is the magic. Okay, I will pass this. Oh, it was a nice piece. It was a nice piece of music, definitely. I will pass this over to Bleha. What do you think?
All right. Yeah, so you mentioned most of the panning stuff already. I think it would have been better if you had it a bit more centered too. So yeah, not so extreme, because it's me specifically. It's making me feel weird. Like my other ear feels deaf and strange, and it's like unpleasant. Anyway, I thought it was, I thought it was a nice little composition. I see what you were going for, though I wish the third voice wouldn't have been just an octave with the second one. I wish you would have had 3 melodies into. I actually, was there in the end part? No, not really. It was really nice in the beginning. I was a bit concerned about the half mid to end kind of section. There weren't some parts where I would take issue with the harmony and with the bass line specifically, where you had this short section of like a pedal note. I would have kept that just the pedal note. I wouldn't have moved it down with the rest. I think moving it down was a mistake. I would have either moved it up, or I would have just left it for that section. I think it would have been nicer. So nice composition, nice and short. I see what you went for, what you were going for. This is the sort of stuff you can, I believe you can do on a phone well like this. So working more with composition, so it doesn't really matter what you do in terms of like what synthesizers you use and how it sounds and stuff like that. And it's more pure melody and writing. I think that's beautiful. Anyway, yeah, I don't know what you want to do with it, but maybe you could rework some sections near the end. I think like really it had some really nice a really nice melody in there. Definitely really nice. Anyway, yeah, that's it. Nice little composition. Okay, I'm gonna pass it over to Emerald.
Okay, so first thought for this should be in like a 8-bit video game. That's just the like first thing I thought. But I kind of liked it. It's not like up my alley exactly, like with my personal tastes, I guess. But the mix was really good. And I think it only used like 2 instruments, which this delivers a lot, I guess, for only using 2 instruments. The one thing that everyone
That's what
else
happens when you come up with an actual melody.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it kind of like it didn't it was like a mix between not repetitive and repetitive, and it was kind of like just in the middle where it was like okay and it sounded good. But the one thing that everyone else touched up upon that I'm also going to touch up upon is the panning. Never ever pan 100% one way. Like I think Guild said it's not a rule. It is a rule. Never pan 100% one way. But
You can't hold me back with y'all's rules.
yeah. So don't pan it all the way to the right. I feel like maybe like 70% to one side would be good. Just have it like a little bit in one ear still. And maybe even just a suggestion, like automate the panning so it kind of like moves from like left ear to right ear, left ear to right ear. That could also bring a bit more life to the track, I guess. that's really all I had. I'm thinking, um, what was I thinking? I'm having a brain fart now. I'm sorry. um, yeah, I guess that's it. I'll just pass it on to Radium now because I forgot what I was gonna say. So, Radium, what do you got to say about this? I think Radium still.
Yeah, I think
No
Radium actually
worries.
died. Okay.
Oh, Radio.
So,
Emerald, if you think of what you had to say, you can say it. I'm sure Radio will. There she is. Mike's been unmuted.
hi, Radium.
She is
Hi.
back. Hello.
That was the saddest back ever.
What? I thought it was like, and she's making her entrance into the Discord chat. She's unmuted her mic and she has returned.
Yes,
what do you have to
all
say,
hail Radium. First of all, we have a cult of the OTT in the chat. I am worried about you all.
Yes, me too.
The cult of OTT. Yes, advocated by Retrograde mainly.
The cult of fixing.
But I'm not going to
mistakes.
deny it because I don't want to be wrong in the end. You know, if I'm the one in the end and find out OTT was the right path and I didn't choose it, I don't want to be that guy. So, you know, I'm all hail OTT.
Okay. Enough introduction. I like your track. The first thing I thought when I listened to the track was it needs a trap beat. It needs a trap jump pattern. Like just a drop and then just super rough blah, blah, blah. Oops, I'm sorry. Like just super rough drums and shit. That's like the first thing that got into my mind. Other than that, I liked it. It's a good it's been a good sample kind of song. If you ever need to check if your headphones are broken, you can just play it and see. That'd be good too. I'm rambling. I'm sorry, but it's a nice. So far, I don't know what you're planning to do with it or what it's gonna be, but so far it's a good. It's a good. It's nice.
Yeah,
I gotta stop there.
Nice.
All right. Right. I don't know if I agree with that. I think it can stand on its own.
Without the drums, the
beat.
drum thing?
Yeah. I don't think
it doesn't need
else.
it, but it would definitely make a good one. That's what I'm saying. It could be used for so many. It's so simple. It doesn't need it, and to not take away from the art.
I think it's
that it
only
is.
simple if you don't really listen to what the melodies are doing. Anyway,
you just made the most multi-genre sample ever.
We'll put it this
Sell
way.
it.
Yeah, we'll put it this way, Blay. You're always wanting more melody in the more like beat style genres. So maybe if you were to take this and make a trap beat out of it, you would almost kind of get that thing that you're kind of talking about, something with more melody. So it's not something you have to do this track to make it good. It's just an idea of something that you could do with this for someone that doesn't write music like this. But yes, it's okay to disagree. As long as you don't disagree with the OTT, is like Sriracha. You put it on everything. But I don't think, Blay, you even use OTT on any of
no comment.
Yeah, I don't think you use OTT on anything you do, huh?
No.
You want it, dude. You would not.
I don't think it would be of any benefit for my music. No.
I can't think of a single sound that you would use in your sound music that would benefit from it. Unless you turn down all the upwards compression. You can use it as a regular multi-band compressor. Turn down all the upwards compression.
I don't even use that.
Anyways,
there's for me there's no compression or whatsoever in classical music. It's absolutely no go. Right. You don't do that.
Right.
Because I care about dynamic range.
Natural dynamic range. That's something that doesn't seem like it's being pushed down. I mean, you could use a compressor in a way that you can't tell it's being used with the right attack and release gain just to fix some problems. But
why? What problems?
why
are you
do
gonna fix?
it?
If you know how to
Right.
set up microphones and if you do a proper recording of an orchestra, or if you work in the patch virtual instruments that you have, then you don't really need that, and especially no compression. I think you should never use
Right.
compression. You can use EQs and stuff to get a more natural sound or get a sound.
You would use volume automation? Because you essentially
No,
you can
I
volume
w-
automate the same effect as a compressor, maybe not as quick and as real as easy, but if something needs to be leveled out and balanced out,
I don't need a compressor. What you use an
Right.
orchestra for compression and for volume adjustment is orchestration, and you tell them your sessions in what intensities to play. So, if
But
I
say in
want
the
to be
studio,
something
you're trying
quiet, I put PA pianissimo on the notes, and they'll play it quietly, and it'll be quiet. And then I want it super loud.
Right.
I add, 4 trumpets and I don't know, like 2 trombones, and I have them just blast out a loud, boop, and everyone dies. So you don't need that because we do that with orchestration.
No, I totally agree. I think that kind of stuff just needs to be. Well, you're just talking about recording it correct. You're talking about recording it right to begin with. But let's say you already have something that's recorded too loud or too quiet, and you're trying to, like a singer, and some of the vocals are too loud and some are too quiet. A lot of people throw a compressor on that because then it balances out the loud phrase of it. It makes it not sound as natural, of course, but it fixes all that. Fixes the too much dynamic range. But in
that's
sense,
why if you record like big ensembles or something like that, you record in multi-track, and then you just push up the fader a little bit to balance it out.
Yeah, for sure.
I wouldn't use compression on that. I would on very
not.
few things.
Definitely not.
Anyway, shall we
All
move
right.
on to our next submission?
Yeah, let's do it. Hey, Miro just entered the chat. How you doing?
All right, so our next submission is going to be Pike Beach by Morland. Have fun. All right, so that was Pike Beach by Morland. And Morland left us a note, which I'm going to read out on stream right now. Hello, first time submitting my song for any kind of feedback. Main things I want feedback for. Is the song too repetitive? Should something be done in order to make it more structured instead of repeating loop? And secondly, is the main lead sounding too annoying? If so, how could it be made less annoying? All right. All right. So, what did you guys? That was Morland's message to us. Okay. So, what did you guys think? What did you think, Geld?
Yeah. So the note Morland left us is great insight on what Morland's already thinking about the track, and this is a good example of what, or that kind of thinking about your own track and then asking outwardly, like, what do y'all think about these specific things? Usually it's a sign that it's bugging you already, Morland. And if there's something bugging you in your track, that is a sign, that is something you should work on. That's how you know a song's done, when nothing's bugging you anymore in it. You know what I mean? But if every time you hear it and you're like, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Maybe it's okay. Maybe if you're asking, maybe it's okay, then it's something you should work on for sure. And then, Blaze mentioned, and we've mentioned that some producers, they seem to be less critical on themselves. Like they hear their song and they're really proud of it, so they think it's the best thing in the world. But at some point you gotta but then some producers are really real with themselves. They hear their track, they're like, okay, I'm proud of myself, but this is not as good as it should be. I mean, this was a fine song, by the way. Pike Beach is a decent song. I'm just saying, when you're analyzing your own music and you're critiquing your own music, you've got to, yes, be proud of when you learned how to do a new technique. Like you learned that 3 OTTs is sometimes better than 2 OTTs. And you learn that for the first time, you get real excited and you're really happy for yourself and you're excited. But then you go listen to your song compared to Virtual Riot or something like that, and you go, whoa, his is better than he must be using 4 OTTs, or something. But no, what I'm saying is, you're proud of yourself, but then you got to critique yourself. You got to be real. Is it as good as you want to be? And if you're asking, like, okay, is the lead sound annoying or is it too repetitive? It probably is. And that's a good thing. It gives you something to work on in the studio. And you're also asking, how can you fix that? I mean, the lead sound, when you're just holding out the notes, they're always sustaining. It can get old. You can, if you want to sustain the notes, I recommend adding vibrato at the end of some of them and like having them like filter, like envelopes, like filter effects through the notes as you hold them out longer, or cut some of the notes shorter. You know what I mean? Do some like shorter staccato style notes, so it's not just the long holding out the notes. But I would say the instrument itself, the sound itself, doesn't have much life to it. That's what I'm always talking about. When in sound design and synthesis, you're starting with pure sine waves and you're trying to make them more complex to give them character. So that's actually a challenge. And if you don't go all the way, your sound, to me anyways, will always sound very like unfinished. It'll sound like something doesn't have enough character, versus a real instrument like a piano, a clarinet, a violin, a guitar. They have a lot of character. That's why they're such beautiful instruments. And that's why they rose to the top of being like nostalgic, famous, popular instruments, because they sound really, really good. So in sound design and electronic music, your goal is to make a sound with as much character as a real instrument. Something doesn't have to sound like a real instrument, but it needs character, it needs life, it needs like to breathe, it needs to like change. When you hold the note down longer, you hold it down, it needs to, like someone running out of air, running out of breath, or kind of just pitching just a little up and down. Just things like that bring life to your music. And then synthesizers, you kind of want to do that. So this seemed like very simple sounds, like your generic synth sounds, like and then just the notes just being held out, like without any like real change in like the velocity and the like how the length of the, I don't know. So I would just say yes, it is a little repetitive and it can come off as annoying because it's repetitive, but you got a good thing started here. It's really a good song to kind of break back down and like bring a little bit more life into it. And I do recommend like a rhythmic, like something with rhythm. It could be a synth, but think of how a guitar would like strum a song, like chick, 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 and it gives you rhythm. Something like that in the song, like one of the synths of the melodies given a little bit more rhythm, make it a little bit more groovy. I saw someone mention that it was groovy, but I think it could be more groovy. But that's pretty much the feedback I have. for this. I'll pass it over to you, Blay. What do you think?
All right. Yeah. Right. First of all, I think in terms of, mixing and stuff like that, I think it was fine. I think the sounds were fine and stuff like that. I wanna talk about the questions you were asking directly before I say something that might be positive. Not because I want to say negative things first, but because I think but I think there's something you could do with this as it is right now. So is it too repetitive? In my opinion, yeah. But I don't know. You've submitted for the first time. I don't know how long you've been on the community. I think I recognize the name, but
Yeah.
I'm very critical of a lot of music, especially electronic music, because there's usually people make things very, very repetitive. It's not a matter of it being electronic, but it's more a matter of people that produce in that style usually tend to do things really repetitively. That said, I think you do have an interesting melody, but it gets boring real fast. I mean the harmony is super simple. It's like the chord progression and stuff is super basic, which it doesn't have to be a bad thing, but it's not necessarily a great thing either. So what I would do with something like this, I'd have a section where it's completely changed. You could move into a different key. You don't have to, but just moving through more chords could be more exciting. But I think a big thing you could do, and it's something really simple that isn't hard, is on top of the loops you have, that main melody thing you have, if you have it come around a second time, you could just add a variation. It could just, you could just change it. Even if you have a start, da 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 da, you could have da 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 da, something like that. You could just, small variations could already make it more exciting. I don't know why people don't do that. So when I work with Fruity Loop, no, FL Studio, not Fruity. We're not a serial. No. It's not we. It's them anyway. So
no, it's we. That's okay.
Right, yeah. So with these patterns, which it's how it works in most DAWs anyway, so who cares? You have these patterns and these blocks of loopy things. So usually what I see people do is they have like 4-bar loops with like a bass line, and then they have like a 2-bar loop with like drums and stuff, and they have like a thing that goes over like usually 4 bars melody or like 8 bars. So for me, I usually have in my music, so it could be like an orchestral piece that lasts 20 minutes. I have one pattern, a single one.
I've seen that. You have a unique way. Well, it's unique compared to EDM producers, but
yeah, it's sort of unique to compared to other people working in orchestra. Yeah,
there is no loop, music. Basically.
Yeah. there is no loop exactly.
You might copy and paste a phrase, but you're not like looping.
Maybe, but it'll vary again. So
right.
So yeah, that's how I don't have any loops, and you could do that
Works
too.
Really good with the ghost notes.
If you wanna, yeah. So what I would do, what I prefer to do, if I were to loop, I would probably do like a 16-bar loop of like a chord progression, so that's going to be really interesting, and then not have the melody loop at all. You could reference it and have phrases of that melody be repeated, but I'd always add some kind of variation into it, because I'm telling a story with music, and since you're new, I'm gonna rant about story again. Musicians, music composers, producers, we're storytellers. Music is a storytelling medium. We tell stories. So if you repeat, it's like just saying a phrase over and over and over again. It's not a very interesting story. So for me, that's why it's uninteresting. That's why it's lacking. That's why it's boring to me, because I expect stories that tell a lot. You could make your Transformers bullshit movie. Dangerous thing I'm getting into. But you could make your bullshit Transformers movie where the plot is, there's giant robots and they need to find some artifact, whatever. That is that is every single film of those. Yeah, you can still enjoy it and stuff, but at the end of the day, a really good movie tells a really interesting story. Maybe even one with like a core concept that you had, finding true love, killing a murderer, whatever. But it's the way you tell it that matters, and it's the extent of the depths you go into, and that is what's always missing with something that's looping so much.
How would you say, Blay? I know we're probably gonna go over our time limit, but just to open up a discussion, like, of course you don't, but you're talking about telling story as like kind of analogy or as a like, let's get in a comparison. But so in music, give a good example of in just an instrumental piece how it could tell a story, like a beginning, a middle, and an end. And I don't mean go forever, but like, what do you mean exactly for our listeners by tell a story with your music? Like, what does that mean? Because it's not a book. You're not,
Right.
What do you
well,
mean?
in a way, it is. In a way, it might be a book. Might as well be a book. Because the thing is, what you do with music is you don't use words, obviously. But what you tap into is a sort of a deeper understanding of emotion and things like that. So basically what you're telling a story with is with emotion and with feelings. So what I like to do, what could help, for if you want to get a better, I think what could help is if you think of an image, because this is a difficult concept to explain with words. That's why it's done with music. Imagine a picture, or maybe even just look at a picture, and think and think, how would you describe this picture based on emotion, based on that vision, with sound? How would you describe that? And to me, to me and to a lot of other composers, and especially to film composers, we work with something, and any composer works with things called motives. Not any composer, but so it's basically assigning melodies or short phrases to things or characters. So what I'll do, for example, is there's the story I'm working on, which is like an interesting story. It's a world where you have flying airships and stuff like that. And I have a common theme in my music where there is a short phrase, da 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 dum da 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 dum da 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 dum. That was terrible singing, but
Nobody
that
steals
to
this
me,
idea.
that
It's
to
a
me,
great
how it moves,
secret
da 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 dum da 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 dum. That to me is so moving and so
airship.
grand. That to me feels like air. That feels like wind. So to me, this incorporates the feelings I get when I'm looking at clouds moving and stuff like that. So I'm working that into a lot of the music that I'm writing for this story idea that I have in my head. And then there's a more mechanical theme as well for the airships and stuff like that. And so what I'll do is I'll think of a scene. You can do this. You can think of a scene, a movie scene. Like you can think of characters and then camera movements and stuff like that. And then focus on specific elements. You can touch on. You can show the wind first. Then the airship gets revealed. You bring in more mechanical aspect. And
Right,
then
so it's
maybe
a
you
lot to do
have
with
your
the arrangement of the song. Too,
it's
definitely. I mean,
arrangement.
that's
It's
what,
melody.
that's what I get from it. When I think story, I'm thinking of like, how's the song going to evolve from beginning to end? And you make a good point when you say, if you just repeat yourself with a loop, it's kind of like you're repeating a part of the story you've already seen. So
Yeah.
when you go into the second verse, second drop, it's supposed to be similar to the first, but it needs to tell a story, like the adventurer, the hero's arc. Like the song starts out with maybe a simple melody.
That's usually what that's what I would want from music. Yeah, that's what I would want from music.
Right.
Okay. Or what I do with music. And I think it's something. I honestly think it's something anyone would want. It's and you already sort of do it. You do tell a short story with what you have, and I think a lot of people get bored and annoyed and disappointed in their music when they start to long for more, and they start shitting out a bunch of different tracks, and they end up sounding. I think what's happening is they end up sounding pretty similarly, but with minor changes in them every now and then. And what I'm starting to think is maybe if you put all those together in a shorter time frame, maybe you'd get more of a full picture of someone's emotional journey in their life. So maybe they are telling a story just really slowly over the length of a couple of different tracks.
Be like an album,
because
or
they
a
don't
concept
really
album.
realize what they're trying to do, what they're trying to achieve. So really, I think the best tip anyone could do is really think of a scene, think of a movie scene, and try to put put music to it, try to put emotion to it. Yeah. So
sure.
yeah.
No, that's really good insight. That's really good. That's really smart way to think about music. Sorry, Emerald, I didn't mean to take all your keep. If you had something you wanted to say, what do you think about this track, Emerald?
Okay. I thought it was okay. My main problem with it was too much sine waves. um Basically all the chords were sine waves, kind of just like literally just dry sine wave chords. That was my main problem with it. Otherwise it's pretty good. I'd recommend changing out those chords for something else. Um, I'm sure like people who aren't into music production won't notice that stuff. They don't know what a sine wave sounds like. But honestly, I think either Blay or Guild was saying earlier that the whole point of electronic music is kind of take that bass sine wave and turn it into something that sounds like a real instrument. Um, so you can
Or
either
it's or it has character like a real instrument. It doesn't need
right,
to
yeah,
sound like a real instrument. It can sound like a dubstep bass, but it needs to have character. You know what
yeah,
I mean?
character, yeah. So basically make those chords have character, I guess. You can use like a piano, another sort of synthesizer. Um Trying to think. I guess like saw chords are good, or a saw preset. Those are fun to use, I guess. Um and also your original message, you asked if it was too repetitive. In my opinion, it was very not very repetitive, but semi-repetitive. But like I'd say it's kind of fine, honestly. Like if someone is kind of just like listening to chill and like vibe to a song, they kind of want to just have like a melody to memorize and kind of vibe to, and I think that's pretty good. Um, I'd say definitely in some parts change up the melody, change up maybe the chord progression a bit, change out a few notes here and there. And also my other main thing that I didn't like that much was the percussion. That was what was, I think, the most repetitive. And also it's kind of quiet, like you couldn't really hear it over the lead in the chords. I'd say bring the volume for that up a little bit, but not a lot. Um, so like bring the volume for the percussion up so you can hear it better, but not so it's like overtaking the lead and the chords and stuff, because that's what's the main part of the music. Um, Other than that, that's really all I had on this. I can't really think of anything else. Um, and yeah, that's it. So, Radium, what do you have?
Well, I will begin by saying that we need to respect Transformers. I did not appreciate the shade that Transformers got. They didn't deserve it. Optimus Prime is bae. Second of all, I will continue with my actual feedback. By answering your questions. Question number one: is the song too repetitive? Yes. Follow-up question: should something be done in order to make it more structured instead of repeating loop? Well, I believe that everyone gave great advice, but I will add and or repeat my own. Blair has a point. I feel like in that case you do need uh another melody. Uh a different instrument will be fun too. Maybe a change in the percussion or the even just like the arrangement, removing something and then putting it back much later for like more impact. That would be fun too. Question number two: is the main lead sound too annoying? I will answer by saying the fact that the song is so repetitive makes the lead sound annoying at some point, and it makes you focus on it and you realize that it sounds like super basic, and it's like, mm, yes, it gets annoying because it's repetitive. If it were less repetitive, it would be less annoying. Follow up question: if so, how could it be made less annoying? Switch it up. change it, remove it, stop the repetition. Um, Another side note I want to mention, there's something about your song that reminds me of Daft Punk's Get Lucky. And the moment you notice it, this vibe does not go away. And I am kind of scared that if you ever upload this somewhere, people are going to accuse you of plagiarism because of that. Like there's something, either the chord progression or there's something that exactly like Daft Punk's song. So maybe like keep that in mind for the future.
That's
To
something we all.
conclude,
Okay, sorry.
yes.
Sorry. Oh, go ahead. Sorry. I thought you were done. Go ahead.
Well, to conclude my feedback, Transformers is Bay.
I
All
only saw
right.
one, and there was a lot of
Uh,
action.
it's
I
a
would
very they're very basic stories. You can enjoy
on
them.
that
I have
co-
nothing against enjoying but bit of stupid action. It's fine.
on
um,
that
You gotta watch the cartoons, but like the good
I've
ones.
seen
the
the
cartoon.
cartoons from
I
back in the
was
day.
talking about the
Big
Michael
fan of
Bay
that.
movies, Mr. Explodey
Right.
I mean,
of Lens Flare. Wait, was he the Lens Flare guys? No, he was the explosion guy. He made an ice cream stand explode. Like what? Anyway.
you
Right.
have to evaluate the Bayverse universe as the Bayverse universe. But
Right.
Transformers as a whole is great.
Yeah, I just
That's
wanna,
cool.
because I forgot to mention the the one positive thing I wanted to mention to Morland was, despite all the repetitiveness and stuff, I could totally see this work as some YouTuber's end screen card. Like some
Yeah.
gamer could have this. That's what I said when we were listening.
When you said that,
It's
I totally got the vibe too.
yeah,
Like I
you could
picture like
sell it. You could totally. Oh, already mentioned it. What? How did I miss that? But you could totally sell it to some YouTuber for that end card. I don't know if that's what you want, but because those they just repeat. Listen to yeah. I don't even got an extent. Just listen to anyone's end card. It's all the same.
right,
It could
or
totally,
even
could totally work for that.
like a merch
But
reel.
yeah.
Like if you're showing off your merchandise, or for a YouTuber showing off merch or something.
Yeah, that's
You can.
yeah. It doesn't need.
If you
They
want,
just want corporate background music basically. That's what it could
right.
be used for. But
There's two ways.
I'd do some variation on the melody. I'd work on the stuff we talked about, and yeah. But
Right,
it's
because you can present a
fine.
better
It's
product,
fine.
but you can still. Now,
Yeah,
there's two
but
ways to go about
if
that.
you
You can
wanted
like.
to, be more useful for other stuff too. But
Right. That's for sure. No, it's totally. You can. People that want to do that, you can try to. Of course, you can try to like just put your stuff in the catalog and stuff. But I don't actually recommend that. One of the better ways to do it nowadays is to sign up for like sites like Fiverr and stuff, Fiverr, whatever that site's called, and other sites like that, and be commissioned to do it. Because then you know that you have potential to actually sell that product. And what you do is you just kind of put your skills down, what you're able to do, and then someone will go on there and be like, "Oh, I need a jingle for my video," and yeah, you'll be competing against other people, but the person is going to pick their favorite little jingle. So don't spend too much time on it if you're not thinking they're going to pick it. But anyways, you can go get work as a music. I just recommend this to all those musicians and stuff because there's so many ways to make money in the music industry without being a limelight pop star, because that's just the reality of it. And not that everyone wants to make money, but if you're trying to think a career out of music, you got to realize that the money's going to come from many revenue things: selling merchandise, selling your music, syncing some songs out to companies, licensing, all these different things, mixing an album for somebody. All these different things is the struggle of a musician trying to make some money. Performing artists, if you're not a performing artist anyways. So anyways, just little, because it is a good way. You can take a song like this and you're like, oh, how am I going to sell it to a YouTuber? Yeah, you can go pitch it directly to YouTubers. It's another great way. But build up a catalog of this stuff and then
yeah, you can put it on a catalog.
Right.
That's usually what they use. They use like free, royalty-free music and stuff. Yeah, if you put it on there for free, if you just don't care about the money, it's you're not gonna get you're not really gonna get credit or anything. But if it's a YouTuber who's like growing or something, like maybe like they like it and ask you to do more. But it's like it's YouTube. What do you expect? It's just a bunch of people like doing stuff for fun. It's not. I would never trust YouTube with any business thing. I mean, we've seen it on the channel. We've seen it with our long feedback stream break, how quickly things can break apart by just a false copyright claim or even a malicious one. So, don't ever use YouTube as your main thing. Don't ever do that. Always have a backup plan.
Maybe I watched too much YouTube once. No, it's cool that you're in the chat. Yeah, I've been producing for a long time myself, and I just now learning things that I wish I learned a long time ago. My mixes are just now starting to sound like good enough for where I'm proud to show them. It's just one of those things. It just takes. I think it takes time. Some people come right out of the box, and then they come up with some really cool, impressive stuff. But really, like any skill and craft, it takes long times of experience and practice to master it and to make something that's unique and original and impressive. I mean, honestly, I'm not proud of anything I did, even prior to like really the stuff I'm working on now. So it's just one of those things.
Yeah,
but definitely.
All right.
Anyways,
should we move on to our next submission?
Yeah, let's go for it.
All right, our next submission is going to be GasStation Demo by Lil Terrestrial. Have fun. Lil Terrestrial. Did I pronounce that right? All right, so that was GasStation demo by Lil Terrestrial. There's a bit of time left on the track, but I think it's just very, very, very slow fade. Anyway, I'm gonna read the note that Lil Terrestrial left for us right now. This is a demo for a track from my upcoming album. Will include vocals from an artist by the name of 5ODI or Sodi. I'm blind. The entire album is a trip through different genre of synth style sounds, synth pop, synth rock, etc. Little Terrestrial. All right. So what did you think of this end card music, Guild?
But I'm going to give it what I.
And I had you muted. I'm sorry, Guild. I had you muted. I don't know why.
No worries. Here I am. You weren't talking. You weren't. I was talking a second ago, and you muted me. You're like, I'm done listening to Gil. No. Let me say again. I think this track has a lot of its. Okay, I was looking at the picture when I was listening to this song, and I think looking at the picture like made me enjoy the song more. Like honestly, I do think the song was just way too simple. Like it seems to like go places because the melodies are, like you said, the synths are changing, and it's kind of like this melody, like this little melody going on, and so I felt like it. Like I kept thinking, like, okay, say it was a game or something, but not to even say that it needs to be for a game. Looking at the picture and listening to the music, it seemed like it would have fit very well in like a world, like a synthy future, weird, like alien world game, if you will. So it worked for me because I was looking at the picture, is what I'm saying. But then I was just like trying to like not look at the picture and like listening to a couple of the other feedback hosts, and I was like, okay, yeah, y'all are making good points for sure. But I think for some weird reason, and Lil Trester, you definitely have this kind of going for you. You do kind of have your own like image and sound that goes with it, and so I see a lot of stuff on IG. But so it kind of works because you're kind of like in your world. It works like for your sound. I know you've done some more chill stuff, little beats and stuff, more lo-fi stuff. But this seems to be like an evolution of that, which is, I mean, if you want to like compare it to your other tracks, that's a good thing. But on its own in a vacuum, if I wasn't looking at the picture and I was just hearing the song by itself, I would say yes, it seems to be like just the sounds are really basic again, kind of like the previous track we were giving feedback to, but which does lead to a very clean sound. But problem is there's just not enough character there to me to listen to the whole song anyways. But then also it just seemed like there was just so much going on without a lot of room, like silence in between the notes. You know what I mean? There's like this constant, this constant thing is going, and one thing wasn't playing, something else was. And my advice to that is use sometimes the space in between notes is just as important as the notes themselves. And I know you've heard that before, but it's so true that you kind of want to leave space and then also make some of the notes kind of like shorter and then longer, like not all of them just the same kind of length. But I mean, that was me listening to it for the first time, honestly, looking at the picture, kind of get carried away with it. Sorry it's not the best feedback, but that's just kind of like me trying to give some constructive criticism without like really saying that it's the most worth check, because it kind of worked for me looking at the picture. Like it's just one of those things, like how certain genres will pop up in there. It's its own world. And for example, like the lo-fi genre, it's its own world. Some things in the lo-fi genre are acceptable, but not acceptable elsewhere. And then in the cute kawaii world of music, and then so many other these little genres that there are certain things that are acceptable because it's that weird niche genre, Vocaloid stuff. So I almost looked at your picture and I was like, oh, this is weird sci-fi alien genre, its own genre. But if it wasn't supposed to be, then you could take that just as negative as positive, I guess you could say. But anyways, I'm done rambling. I will pass it over to Bleha.
All right. Yeah, so yeah. um yeah, I'm really unsure what to say, cuz honestly I sort of feel like you could just listen to the feedback we gave to Morland, the one before you, and you'd pretty much, we didn't have to change anything. I feel it's very repetitive. I think actually probably more repetitive than Morland's track. Not to put anyone like not to like it's not like a competition or anything, but it's you have an arpeggio, you have a bass line, you have some repeating chords. Yeah. Yeah, there. To me, there isn't a lot going on. You have sound design stuff or whatever. You have like the clap thing and stuff. That's what I mean when I say it's interesting how to Guild it almost seemed a bit overwhelming in terms of what was going on. And there was too little silence between the notes, as Guild said. And at the same time, there wasn't really anything at all. So that to me is a perfect example for overdoing things with I made this thing, I made this little tune, but it's kind of boring. What do I do? And you just start adding sounds and things and a plop here and a plip there and like a clap there. And you start to sort of like fill it out. And at some point it's like, oh yeah, now there's a lot going on. You're still not really satisfied, but there's more going on. And that's what I mean. You can't fix a bad, or not bad, but you can't fix an undeveloped idea by just plastering it with stuff. You need to have the proper foundation. And the proper foundation is a structured, well thought out harmonic progression. It doesn't have to be thought out, but a strong melody. Just have music as the foundation. That's usually a good way to start, and then start adding your sound stuff. Or you can work it in parallel. But maybe if that's more difficult for you, you could do it in smaller steps, sort of, But to me, this is completely missing a melody. This is completely missing a real chord progression, because this is it's just moving around, but it doesn't have a point. It doesn't have a goal. It doesn't really tell anything. It doesn't. That's the story thing again. I'm not getting a story from this. Not at all. It's at most a thought. And I think that's what you base it off of. It was a short thought, and you didn't develop it further. And I think that's a bit sad. So I would work on that. I would work on the actual music. I would tone down all the sound stuff way more, because it's too much in that aspect. At the same time, there's too little going on with actual melodies, with actual chord progressions, and just musically there isn't a lot going on. And again, it would work perfectly fine for a YouTuber's end card credits thing. It's on point. I can see of some vlog YouTuber or some gaming YouTuber or some podcasting, or maybe an animator. I could totally see an animated figure dancing, and there's like the Patreon credits and stuff, and you have this thing going for as long as it takes for the patrons to run out. I can hear the music stop abruptly because they don't know how to fucking edit videos, and see the end card stuff from YouTube pop up with more videos. I can see it in my head. It's so perfect. License it for some YouTuber if you want to keep it like that. It could work totally. You're not gonna get a lot out of it probably. Other than that, it's for an album. I honestly, I don't want to tell this to people, but I would rework this from the core up. From the core up. I'm not saying like, oh, it's terrible, you can't at all do this. There's gonna be people that enjoy it, but I don't think there's gonna be people that really get that much out of it, and not for that long. And if you don't want that, that's fine. But this is my opinion, and in my opinion, this is something I wouldn't even listen to this in full. That's not just going against you, because I'm being really harsh right now to you specifically. which is it's been building up this entire evening. I'm usually like this what I am right now, so I'm very sorry that I'm letting it out on you right now. It's nothing against you. It's nothing against the track specifically. Yeah, I was super mean. I'm so sorry. No, that's what I mean. It's fine. The sound design, it's a bit too much. I think you got good ideas for that. It's just the music itself is lacking. Yeah, before I piss you off anymore, I'm gonna give it over to Emerald because I've been over my 3 minutes by now. Anyway, so Emerald, save me.
Okay. So what I find really surprising is this actually sounds extremely similar to the last song, in my opinion.
Yeah. That's what I mean. We could just play the feedback for.
Right. Yeah, well, we were playing this, we were
just play it
talking
again.
about that. But honestly, I feel like it's good. Like, I agree with Blay and Guild that like a YouTuber or vlogger or someone could definitely use this for like an outro or intro music or something along those lines, and it's good for that. It's good for that. But like from a music production standpoint, I feel like it's kind of really like repetitive, so like that might turn off people from listening to the entire thing. So like if this was for like a 20-second like outro or something, this would be perfect. But
Yeah.
it's kind of like really repetitive. I remember hearing like the same melody like 6-7 times, which is good for longer songs, but I'm not sure that was that long. And my third point was also this has too many just like raw sine waves, I guess, like people who aren't music producers. I said this with the last one as well. I'm just copying my feedback from the last one. But basically people who aren't music producers won't notice this stuff, but sine waves are kind of like when other producers and like music people are listening to it, they'll see those as sort of like, oh, I guess this person doesn't know how to use music production
It's
software.
real basics.
Yeah, it's real basic stuff.
It's
So
real
I
basic
just
sound design. Like, yeah.
yeah, I just recommend like changing those chords out for like something else. Try like making your own sound design maybe, or using a preset, whichever you like. And also on the lead instrument, there's a tiny bit too much high end. That's just for like my personal taste. So maybe try like some subtractive EQ on that. Take a bit of high end out of that. And yeah, that's pretty much it for me. It's try like less repetition in it. But overall, this is a really good song. And I could definitely see like a YouTuber using this. Maybe try to like contact people once this is fully finished. That would be awesome. All right, I'll hand it over to Radium now. I don't know what you want to say, but go ahead.
Is there anything to say that has not been said? Anyway, is my computer bugging? Well,
You're
shit.
fine right
No, we can
now.
hear you
You're
fine. Quick, do it quick before it starts.
Yeah, I listened while everyone was talking. I had time to listen to your track like 3 more times, and the third time I was like, I see what people are saying. I get it. Like my initial thought was, it's a nice song, but it's kind of song that, in my case, like I would put it in the background as I do something else. And I think that's why I had to listen to it 3 times. I wasn't focusing on it necessarily. I'm doing other pressing stuff on the side. So that's why at first I was like, it's a nice song. And I mean, it is. I feel like it's a good way to show you where you are right now in a matter of skills and experience and stuff. Like it's a good. I feel like it's the kind of song that allows you to know, okay, I am at that level. I'm gonna be at like another level later on. That's the kind of song. But yes, it is very repetitive. Repetitive. Yeah. like when I listened the third time and I started focusing, I was like, it is incredibly repetitive and nothing changes. And it does feel like it's just a bunch of sounds like drowning you at some point. There's a it's not a bad song. Like I said, like it'd be a great song to put like in the background of something, but it's not the song you would focus on for a long time because it doesn't change. Even the sound design is very basic, very here's the basic presets that comes with Serum when you first rent it. It's very basic in terms of arrangement, instrumentation, melody, and everything. But at the same time, I do feel like it's also maybe that's just where you are in a matter of like skills and stuff. So, what would I recommend you? I would start by, like Gil said, explore pulling silence um between your notes. That would like for yeah, definitely some silence. Uh, different kind of arrangement also that would help. But I don't know why. I'm gonna like make a little in French we say un aparté, just like a little side note. Um, don't give up. Sometimes I feel like there's a vibe when we give feedback that people they listen to the feedback and they're like, well shit, I suck and they stop or I don't know, they're like unmotivated. Don't lose motivation. Just take what we said and uh get better with the next song you're gonna make. It's a art is like a progression. It's you get better the more you do it.
Yeah.
So like and something that is fun with art is that when you put it out into the world, you can always go back later on and see how much you've progressed. So, next single, I'm guessing like just take what we said and then try to apply it, try to explore. Like start small and then work your way like up and you gotta get better. Because like I said, it's not a bad song. It's basic, but it's not bad. It's just it's I feel like it's the kind of song that tells you, okay, now you're ready to do something new and get out of your comfort zone. That's the kind of song. So yeah, keep working hard.
All right.
Awesome. Okay. How many we got left? One?
Yeah. Yeah. Should we go to our final submission then?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Our final submission is going to be. Vital Signs Dropped by Skee. Have fun.
Just it.
All right. So that was Vital Signs Drop by Skee. All right. And we're gonna read Skee Lion's message, which Skee left us. I think it's Skee's message because I'm a bit confused. Anyway, that's Skee. Okay, so here's Skee's message. The demo is roughly in C sharp minor at 80 BPM. The vocal samples are from my constructed language, Thalakaniak, and each say, "Weh, saw, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, and go. Just thank you for that, Skee. Thank you.
Skee did that on purpose.
Yeah, totally.
You have a hard time reading it.
All right. So, what did you think, Gee? Guild.
Guild.
End me now.
All right, Skee Lion. This song I enjoyed the heavier kick drum bass thing you had going through this track, but more on that in a second. I'm just say, as a producer, Skee Lion, even though your music that you actually end up making and releasing, even though I think we have we have the same taste in a lot of the music we listen to, for sure. We've mentioned things in the passing, just like certain groups and bands, and I've heard you things, and then I've listened to a lot of stuff that you appreciate, and then I see so we definitely appreciate a lot of the same music. And then when it comes to your music, what I love most about your music, and then a lot of artists in the community, what I like about y'all's music is that when you have your own sound, like this is obviously a Skee Lion track. Not every artist in the community has that for them yet, but when a producer in the community has their own sound, that's why I love following a lot of the members, the small scale producers, if you would, because I've been following their journey. Skee Lion was like, I think, the first person maybe I met in the community, one of the first people that I met in the community. I joined and had a remix competition for one of my songs. I've been doing competitions since I joined. This was crazy. I joined the community. I'm like, hey, everyone, let's do this competition. And I was remixing. I was having competitions for my own songs, and I was calling them like Dungeon. I don't know. It's all these crazy ideas. Anyways, Skee Lion remixed one of my songs way back in the day, and it was really weird. It was crazy. I was like, oh, this is a really crazy version of my song. Of course, my song was just as crazy and weird, I'm sure. But it was like, anyways, I have a really great appreciation for Skee Lion's artistry, if you would. But a lot of Skee's music, your music is just too abstract for me, if you like, if you like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's too I get lost in your tracks. I'm not paying attention close enough to the timing to see if it's like a special timing, and I get lost in some of your tracks. Sometimes you do it just right where it's okay to get lost because it's kind of a trance. But sometimes I keep thinking I'm in like a certain part of the song and it's going to break or build, but then I just realize I'm not. I'm like in just this middle of this really long part, which again, to me, what makes your music just more of an interest piece. Like, I want to see how this is. I want to see what Skee did this time. And I listened to the whole thing, and I'm like, that's so interesting. But this one, okay, going back to this track, something that I feel missing from a lot of your tracks, not all your tracks, but a lot of your tracks don't have like a drum that's cutting through, that's really like holding your weight. A lot of times your drums are buried behind a lot of your synth design and stuff. This one, it was just real minimal, but it had like a nice heavy drum. I love drums. It's my favorite instrument to listen to in any song for the most part. And rhythm and stuff like that. And it had a nice beat to it. And then, second to that, through your journey, I do see the evolution. Like, I do see your developing your sound design and you getting better. So I really enjoyed this because it was an evolution of Skee Lion, and I like your tracks. But I say all that just to let you know that I do listen to more mainstream electronic, in the sense that it's a lot of the stuff that Blade and stuff, and a lot of us, rightfully so, are trying to like push against the norm. But I listen to a lot of that. I think I listen to the best versions of that, but I do listen to a lot of that cookie cutter kind of stuff and DJ friendly stuff, so the DJ knows exactly where every part of the song is before they even listen to it. That kind of music is what I usually listen to. So when I listen to yours, it's kind of a it's different. but I appreciate. I love how full and thick your sounds are, and where they just evolve. You never know what a sound's about to do and what it's about to do next in a Skee Lion song. So that's what's really cool. So good job on Vital Signs Dropped. I'll pass it over to you, Blay.
All right. Yeah. I'm always a bit torn about your tracks, Skee, because for one, they're really interesting in terms of what you do rhythmically. Not all the time, but usually there's some interesting rhythms and stuff, and I have a greater focus on finding those interesting and weird sounds and stuff, and that's totally fine. I can totally see that. But as you know, for me, there's always was always something lacking a bit, which I know some music like this, believe it or not. And I feel that I do feel like sometimes people go really, really, really crazy because that is sort of the one thing that you do with this sort of music. So the crazier the better in a way. And I think there is a point where you can't really go any more crazy without it being, oh yeah, it's crazy again, and it's like it's starting to what I'm starting to think is the methods you use, not you specifically, but a lot of people work with similar music. I feel you're running out of ideas a little bit. Like you're running out of things to do with this method, and I think what's missing, what you could bring back to it, is for one, I sometimes feel like the rhythms themselves aren't really interesting enough. So you do fill in sounds and stuff, but they're usually sort of on the beat somewhere. And I think actually working with more interesting time signature changes. So not just your odd time signatures and stuff like that, like your pearly rhythms and stuff, but actually changing those up as well might add another level. But then again, when your only method is to have a lot going on and have it be really abstract and to build in meaning in all of these small details, at some point you become so detailed where you just lose the grasp of anything that's going on. Sure, you can listen to it over and over again and dig in a bit deeper, but once I actually do that, and I did do that for the one track when I was composing a piano thing on top of, which I still haven't finished, but I'm probably gonna do at some point. I'm sorry about that. I was of course digging deeper, and what I was realizing is that really there's not all that much down there, and I think what's missing is the thing that I was writing on top of that, and of course in my case that is melody and harmony again, but that did something with that, and it gave it another depth. And what I ended up doing is I was giving things a pitch that didn't have a pitch before, and I think that's really interesting. So if you work with the percussion elements, why don't you try and work in melody and pitch and harmony into the percussion elements, and not in the sense that that you just pitch around the percussion, but build pitches using different sounds. I think that would be another level you could digest then. But I think like this, at some point there is just so much going on that it's too little, if you know what I mean. At some point it's so much that it's nothing at all. And I think that's something that can happen with something like this. It's interesting. The concept is interesting. If you dig deeper into like the language that you made and stuff like that, you can find all these things. But really, that's for theorists. That is for theorists. For me as a composer, I do like theorizing, but I like theorizing on a different level. I like theorizing on an emotional level. This is theorizing on an analytical level, and to me that's not something I get a lot of joy out of, which is something that you probably do and a lot of other people do as well. But yeah, that's sort of where I see some issues. Also, just a quick thing at the end, I'm 1 minute over my time thing. Just a quick thing at the end, I noticed that there's some very, very low frequencies on it. I did not analyze them, but I noticed that there was something at the very end. There was some amplitude at the very end when everything was quiet. which did not fade out. So I think you might have some very low frequencies stuck somewhere. So maybe look out for that. There's something hiding down there that should probably be
That's
fixed.
sneaky.
Yeah,
low
because I couldn't hear anything, but I saw a peak on my peak meter at the very end, and then I could hear a pop at the end. So yeah, you should fix that. That's an actual technical mistake. Anyway, gonna give it over to to Emerald. Sorry, Emerald.
Okay. So dubstep isn't really my thing. Like I know I'm
Is
gonna.
that dubstep?
I'm not sure.
I'm going crazy if
It's
it
not
is.
dubstep.
That's
It's
not
not.
dubstep.
What is
It
it?
all sounds
This
the same
is-
to me.
All right,
It's-
guys. But
it's
dubstep has a certain beat. So this is not a
Experimental,
dubstep
electronic,
beat, but
drum
Electronic.
Right.
thing.
Electronic.
Electronic drum
But
experimental
to Emerald's
thing.
defense, he has called his stuff dubstep before, which I would not call dubstep.
How dare you?
So,
Skee?
but one other thing, dubstep is such a weird thing right now that most of the original dubstep people hate anything Americanized bro step. So no one even knows what dubstep is anymore.
Yeah.
But
Even Cass. Anyway, what radio? What Emerald?
Go ahead.
Emerald, your
Go
name
ahead.
is now Radium.
Sorry,
Okay.
Emerald. Go ahead.
All right. So the mix was like perfect on this, I thought. I noticed Skee are really good with that. But I also thought it was really repetitive. Like I'd hear like the same kind of wubs every few seconds before
Yes.
it like changed out for something else. So yeah, basically, I'm gonna give more like negative feedback than positive because I'm not really into this stuff. But it's definitely on a technical side. This is really good. So yeah, it was very repetitive. The mix was good. I was thinking like it needs more melody, sort of. Sorry. So I was saying it needs kind of like more melody. It was kind of just like whoop here, whoop there. And I guess you said the demo is roughly in C sharp minor.
I'm not hearing that.
Yeah.
Roughly in C sharp.
We're kind of not hearing like a key. So I'd like to see in like maybe one of your future songs or something, you like stick to a key or something, and like make like chords and
I mean, that wasn't
all
really
that stuff.
pitch. Was there pitch in that sense? I didn't.
One of
Sorry,
those
keep going.
Weird things. If you're gonna say roughly in C minor, that means maybe like
Maybe like there's a few notes
you
that
trailed away from it, and then but kind of went back. But, I mean, music theory is another whole topic too, because there's Western, there's this music theory, and then there's all the other music theories that just never got considered to be the music theory.
Let's not get into that. I'm gonna rant about this for hours.
All right, let's.
Yeah, there's definitely pretty much anything sound is music, but yeah. So I'd like to see more like chord and key oriented music from you because that would honestly I think I don't know, I just think it would be cool. But yeah, so honestly on a technical skill, that's my opinion, it's really good. Not my cup of tea. Basically is very repetitive, but I feel like you could change that. So that's pretty much it for me. Radium, what do you gotta say?
I'm gonna keep my stuff short. I like the music that you make. Like, would I listen to it on all the time? Probably not. But I know I like that. I have no idea what it is. I have no idea what it does. I have no idea what to call it, but I like it anyway. And I like that. I like that it's experimental. I like that there's never really anything to expect either. So like I forgot what I was gonna say because I got distracted. um but yeah, personally I really liked it. I don't understand the title and the song. I don't see how they like work together. Because for me, vitals dropping means they're dying. and that song sounds like you just took like acid. So I don't get it.
Yeah, also
The
the language that I don't
bad trip.
understand says 1, 2, 3, 4, go, not 1, 2, 3,
Yes,
4, die.
yes, the language. Ski, ski, baby, ski, ski, ski.
I
You're
love the
doing too
language.
much.
No. I support the
Ouais,
language.
ça,
No, you're
yeg,
doing too much.
jazz.
I'm
You are not in Star Trek. You're doing too much.
don't listen to them, Skee. Finish this.
I like the
I
language
would learn
thing.
your language. I would learn
I
your
like the
language.
language thing. I like the language
Hey, well,
thing.
that's just something. It made me reminded me of something. Like I a while back decided I'm gonna write a little story to go along with my album, and I was gonna make characters, and then I was gonna present it in a way that you could like you can inject more meaning into the songs with the story and stuff. And when you read that it was about the Skee's language, it made me think of something like it's neat. It gave not everyone's gonna know when they heard this song for the first time that there's a made up language and everything to it, but the fans and the people that follow your lore or anything like that, that is a neat added thing you would do as an artist. Like Skee's such a outside of the box thinker. He made up his own language. Yeah, it's interesting, but I like how Radium says it's doing too much.
Yes, it's too much. It's too much. Until it becomes something, it's too much.
It's really good for people that use Vocaloid and stuff like that. You can make up a language and make up everything and just kind of they'll be like, what is this?
Like, are you
Okay.
supposed to pronounce Oye, Zo, Yag, and Jax? Like, anyway.
I wonder how fluid Skee can talk this language. Hey, Arcestic
Yes,
joined us at the very end. Arcestic, hello.
we should have him on just to speak that, and I will
Yeah.
speak Klingon back. Anyway, what was I gonna say?
Oh, you weren't finished?
No.
I'm sorry. I do that a lot. I just like to jump in, interrupt people.
Well, anyway, moral of the story. I personally like the song. I have no idea what you should improve. Like, I have no idea what it is in the first place. But, like, I liked it. Stay you are. That language is doing way too much. You should write a book. And have this as, like, the soundtrack of the book. Marketing right here. You can take my idea. You're welcome. Now I'm finished.
Okay. All right. I guess we're at the end of our stream.
Cool. I guess I'll wrap it up. I don't know. We don't have a systematic way of doing this. We just kind of go with it. So, anyway,
we sort of do.
We kind of, because I'm like a robot and I just repeat myself every time. If you want to get on next week's feedback stream, we're gonna promote it more this week. We were a little late with the post this week, so Blay, if you want to go on and send me that link, I'll get that posted ASAP. Feedback
you already
stream
have
31. Awesome. My bad. I'll get that posted. We'll do a little bit more promoting. We'll try to get more people in here. But regardless, you could always watch the replay. Last week was one of our busier ones, and it was really, and I feel like the extra promotion that I did kind of helped it go a little long way. So I'm going to be sure to let everyone knows that where the submission is posted, feedback stream 31, and submit your track there. Tune back in next Friday to listen to your track and get your feedback. Share feedback in the chat. If you come back and you're just hanging out in the chat, share your feedback too. And we're going to continue to do these every Friday. We really enjoy them. Thanks, Emerald, for being here with us again.
Yeah,
you do
you.
solid
Thank
feedback. 2 minutes and 55 seconds exactly every time. So this is better. And thanks as always, Radio, for joining us, and Blay for doing the stream. All right, everybody. This has been our feedback stream. I'll see you back in the community. Look for the featured posts to see what's going on. Always, we keep them featured, and see you in the chat rooms. Thanks.
Right. Bye.
Bye-bye.